Welcome back to my fishy adventures. We are on a windswept beach in Lincolnshire, near a place called Chapel St Leonard's. This is a fabulous spot. I'm basically bait fishing with beach caster rods today. Came here last year and I had a fabulous day. I had a personal best bass and lots of smooth hounds in the kind of 5 to 10 pound range. There's been a few fish being caught here. This is part of the new, improved, what was Fly Fishing Rutland Water is now just called My Fishy Adventures. I can do anything I like now. This year I'm going to be doing sea fishing. I've got 3 different setups: spinning, fly fishing and bait fishing. The water is too murky for fly fishing or spinning just now. The fish just won't see the lures, so I'm reduced to bait fishing with lugworm. I've come up here. We're going to fish 3 hours up until high tide. This is a brilliant spot. There's a very, very deep, you've heard me talk about deep channels. Well, this beach has a very deep trench, and basically it brings the fish in very, very close at high tide. Now it's 1 o'clock, high tide is 3:38, so I've got about 2-3 hours to fish the tide up, and I'll stay for probably about an hour after high tide. Today it's supposed to be 14-15 degrees, but it feels a lot colder because we've got this northeast wind that's coming in, and I don't know whether that's going to put the fish off or not. We'll soon find out. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I've got a few things I want to show you today. I've got 2 rods out. Made the fatal mistake with the first rod of casting it downwind. I really need to throw it upwind, so you really want the line basically coming downwind if you possibly can. But I'll show you the rig that I'm using. This is very heavy gear compared to what you are used to seeing me using. Got a good cast. And something is eating my lugworm. My lugworm is all but gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these rods around so that this rod is on the left hand side of the rod stand. And we'll rebait red and throw it out more to the left. So you'll see I'm using what's called a 2-hook rig. And this hook is basically clipped. I'm using these gripper leads just so that they hold in the sand. Now, this rig has clips on it so that when I put the worms on, the rig stays completely clipped when I throw it out. I'll show you this in action. So let's just grab a couple of fresh lug. It's a lot more icky than fly fishing, I have to say. It's a bit smelly, but it needs to be smelly because the fish basically smell the lugworm, and that's what brings them. There's no sight fishing here, there's no fancy nice flies. That's the first one on. And we'll do the same with the second one. These rigs actually I got from a fellow YouTuber, a chap that I met in a shop called Angler's Corner in Llanelli, a chap called Wayne Phillips, and he started doing some videos on different rigs that he was tying, and this was one of them. So I literally nicked his rig design, and you can see here the rig is what's called clipped. There's a clip on the base of the rig here that I can clip the hook onto, and that will hold the hook in position. Then there is another clip here that I can put the second worm onto, if it'll stay. They've actually got springs in them, so if you get a little bit too cute, the spring can pull the worm out. The springs are actually designed to release the worms when the rig hits the water, so that's properly clipped. Always have a bucket of water, because this is messy stuff. Now here's another thing I want to show you. With spinning rods, I have a real problem getting the release right. I don't know why, but I always struggle. So I've got this fabulous device. I'll show you. I'll bring it over here. And it's a trigger. So basically what I do is I lift the trigger, I wrap the line round the trigger piece, pull the trigger down. Now that holds the line in place, so when I pull the bail arm off, it holds the line. So I just basically cast and release this trigger to get the bait to go out. And then basically all I do is cast it upwind. I'm not going to cast very far. The fish were quite close in last year, so we'll just throw it out upwind, down, get the clip arm on, round some line in. Get the rod in place, tighten the clutch again, tighten the bail arm. That's perfect. That line is now going straight upwind, which is exactly where I want it. I should have been down here earlier, because last year I spotted like a drainage gully right in front of me, and basically I knew that when the tide came in, all the food would be being moved into that gully. And I just basically parked myself right in front of it, and I caught fish after fish. The people left and right of me got nothing. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to be one of them today, that I didn't get a chance to see the spot. I should have been down earlier. Last time I was here, the fish started to come on really about 2 hours, from about 2 hours before high tide up to about 2 hours on the high tide mark. Really happy with how red is fishing. Blue wasn't quite far up enough. We probably need to change the baits about every 20-30 minutes. I've got plenty of lug. I've got 50, so I've got more than enough for 2-3 hours fishing. These triggers are brilliant. But when I have this problem where when it comes to releasing on a beach rod, I either, because I'm terrified of hurting my finger with this 60-pound shock leader, and I either release it too early or too late because of this apprehension. With these triggers, I don't have to worry about thinking about how I'm going to hurt my fingers, because my fingers aren't touching the line, they're touching the trigger, and it means you can really throw the line out, which in some spots is required. Here it's not. Last year I was getting the fish. I got one in my very first cast last year, and it was a really rubbish cast. It hadn't gone out very, very far, but I got a decent bass. On my second cast, I got a personal best. Not massive by bass standards, probably at the 4 pound mark, but for me, my first proper bass. The smooth hounds are actually more fun because they are basically sharks, and they've got massive fins, so when they are swimming around in the water, they give you a real good tussle. That chap's got a flounder. The chap up from me's caught a little flatfish, so there obviously are fish in the area. I've got a number of different rigs in here. This is the ones that I'm using, the two hook clip rigs that I got from Wayne Phillips. But I've also got some 2 up, 1 down. So that basically has 2 hooks up the line and then 1 on the bottom, and that's designed to catch flatfish. This one is 1 up, 1. This one's 1 up, 1 down. These ones are 3 hook flappers, so they're not clipped, but you've got 3 hooks on, so you've got 3 times as much chance of catching fish. And these ones are 2 hook flappers. Then I've got some more specialist rigs here. I've actually got a bunch of other rigs, but I stupidly forgot to bring them. I don't know what that is. I think it's another one of Wayne's. I've got plenty of them because I do like those rigs. But so far, nothing happening with the rods. Sea fishing this year. I'm only doing sea fishing this year. This is the great thing about this spot, is I probably won't have to move these rods now. I might have to move them a few feet back, but literally this gully is just going to fill up with water. So you'll have about 15-20 feet of water right in front of you, prime fishing ground. This spot's called Trunch Lane. I've seen lots of posts about it on social media, and it's a fabulous venue, and it's only about an hour and 50 minutes away from home, so nice easy drive, 3 or 4 hours fishing, and then 2 hours back home. Usually a fish and chip stop on the way. One of the things I need to do is I need to actually note the time that I put the rod out, and really only leave the rod out for about 15-20 minutes. I'm actually using lug because I want to get bass rather than smoothhound. But last time the smoothhound were taking the lug just as much as the preferred bait for smoothhound. The preferred bait for smoothhound is something like crabs. They'll also take squid, and you put really quite big baits out on what's called a pulley pennel rig. Don't have any of them with me today. Don't think I have any with me. Oh, no I don't. I stupidly left my other fishing rig box at home. I didn't bring it, and I could have gone for the heavier stuff, but alas, I didn't bring it. Got a nice cushion here as well, but I won't be sitting down today. I think I'd rather stay standing. Right, I've got plenty of lugs, so I'm going to bring Blue in and try another cast, maybe a bit further out. Takes quite a bit of pulling to get the lead out of the sand. Thankfully there's no weed today. May is normally a month where you can get absolutely plagued with weed. Yeah, bait's picked clean, so I suspect there's crab activity out there that's grabbing some of the lugworm delicacies that I'm putting out that are supposed to be for the fish. Using a 5-ounce lead today, which seems to be gripping well. Sometimes if the tides are a bit stronger, you have to put heavier leads on to try and stop them being moved about so much. It's best to bait the bottom hook first. And I'm really just trying to slide the lugworm up the hook. There we go. Clip it in place. Perfect. And then we just do the same with the next one. I always said I didn't want to go coarse fishing because get involved doing mucky stuff, and then I get involved in this, which is way muckier than coarse fishing would ever be. Get that into the clip. There we go. Nicely clipped. Wash the hands. Then we do the same again. I bring the line up to a comfortable point, but that looks a bit right. And then we do the same thing with a line clip. Release the clip, 2 turns round, pull it down, make sure the line is held in place, which it is. Get the other finger and then go cast. We just have to bide our time. I'm annoyed I didn't bring those other rigs. It might have been nice to put a big pulley pennel on and really throw it out. I'm going to grab one of these 1 up 1 down rigs, or 2 up 1 down, and just try fishing with more hooks. It can actually be quite a smart idea to basically get your next rig baited up and out, or ready to go out, while the other ones are still fishing. It just means that you've always got bait in the water. And it's like any kind of fishing, the more time your flies or stuff's in the water, the more chance you have of catching fish. This one's been out a wee while, so it's probably been chewed away. The leads do grip well, which is good. Now this one hasn't been chewed as much. All we do is take this one off. Grab the other rig, pop it on my quick release thing, and then I'm basically ready to go. Not going far out with this one. Bring this a bit closer and just see if there's anything a bit further in. That was fine. It's exactly where I wanted it. Managed to land that right on the breaker. A slimy, slippery snake. We'll get back straight away. Oh, yuck. Well, at least we're not totally fishless. Right, so we've caught something. It might have only been a little scrawny eel, but at least it's a fish. Last time I was here, the rod tips were going pretty much every time I cast out. But that was around the 12th of June. Got some fabulous pictures of smoothhounds going back. So maybe the smoothhounds are starting to come in now. They tend to show up about May into June. Because I didn't come down early enough, I may have missed the opportunity to literally put myself in a spot where there was a drainage gully. If you're in one of those, you've got a real chance of fish. I mean, this beach is long, it goes a long, long way. So the fish are basically going to stop in a spot where there's some kind of feature that's going to bring food down the beach to them. And if you're not in that spot, you've got to hope that there are fish moving up and down the beach, and they don't always do that. Cool. Oh, this could be a proper bite. Oh, this is a proper bite. Definite movement on blue there. Oh. I think this is probably a schoolie bass because it hasn't pulled the leg out, but it's pulling the line. If it moves again, I'll bring it in. Yeah, there's something there. I think this is probably a small school bass. There's something here. Yeah, there's something. I don't think it's big. I think it's a school bass, probably. Yeah. Yeah, there's something, but I think it's just a small bass. Or another eel. A flounder. We actually got a flounder. Little flounder. That's not a bad little fish. Not what we're after. There we go. Pretty little flounder. I'll let it go. Oops. So that's 2 species. So, as before, once, twice around, pull the trigger, release the bail arm, switch hands, that was a good cast as well, very good cast. Well, thanks for joining me on my first fishy adventure of the year. 2 fish, an eel and a flounder, not what we were after. we wanted a bass or a smooth hound, but this is the sea. You have to take what is put in front of you, but at least we haven't blanked. So as always, if you've liked the video, please make sure you hit the like button, and I would be delighted if you would subscribe to the channel to see more of my fishy adventures. Thanks for watching.